We're starting off high.
We can get a two fools agree on that one. Oh, by the way, look, we got the wide shot. Ah!
You had accountability. Now, what I can...
Now all you need is a podcast and a YouTube channel.
No, not even.
Where, give me the money. Show me the money.
Apparently there's a foolproof page.
Shoot the J. Shoot it. Live on Facebook.com/Foolproof Entertainment Network. I need you on Twitter. I need you to repost the Facebook pages.
To raise a human before I would
trust a human to raise back wolves.
Before I would trust a pack of humans to raise wolves.
Right. I hear you. Yeah. Welcome back once again.
Welcome, fuckers.
Friday the 13th edition of...
Oh, is it?
Do Fools Agree?
Friday the 13th.
Yeah, man.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
I was not aware.
Oh, you got to keep track of those dates.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Right?
Makes sense. I probably should do that.
Yeah, maybe. Oh, man. What the fuck is going on this week, Clifford?
Pandemonium.
Pandemonium. Oh, shit. We had a full moon. Beginning of the week.
Full moon, Friday the 13th. Pandemonium.
And pandemic pandemonium.
Pandemic pandemonium.
Pandemic ammonium.
Pandemic ammonium.
Buddy. I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, early on, I thought this was just another flu, right?
I did too. I'm not gonna lie.
And I mean, part of me thinks it still is. Like you look
a little bit.
But
the motherfucker shut the NBA down. Oh shit.
No!
This shit is real as fuck.
And like, Bron said he not playing for no crowds.
I thought he said the opposite. I thought he said he wasn't gonna play for no crowds.
That's what I said. He's not gonna play for
not
having a crowd. Yeah.
Okay.
That's
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he thought that.
Right. He ain't playing for anything. I'm actually. It's not that I'm surprised that they're doing that, but.
He said it was only going to be for like 4 to 6 weeks.
Right.
You know these rich motherfuckers ain't going to leave it for
Well, they ain't going to leave it all on the table. I think the thing for me was, and I guess the everything changed when it was an NBA player that came down with it, right?
Right.
Two of them, like the Jazz, right? Nah, I didn't see any of it. I just read
on
names.
All this shit?
I heard he was touching the microphone and shit.
That motherfucker.
I don't know,
dude.
Leave
it to the fringe.
Leave it to... Oh, shit, dude.
Leave it to the
I mean, they're shutting down the NBA. Fringe. They shut down the Masters. They're shutting down the NHL. MLB is going to have a delayed start. But MLB, I feel like, has a delayed start like every 3 years.
Como tu vas, Rudy Gobert? Gobert. How the fuck are you feeling now, you son of a bitch?
Right. Shutting down schools here in Ohio. I mean, this is shit we've never seen, at least in our lifetime. And I was trying to do some research, like, when was the last time there was an epidemic or a pandemic like this? And I guess, like, the most recent comparison is, like, the 1910s and Spanish flu or some shit.
Yeah,
that's a completely different world back then. That wasn't a global economy. It still took you. That was before airplanes. Like you were on a boat for 12 weeks to get across.
And that killed more people than projected. This
right.
too. That was what? That was 1.3 million, I think.
I don't know.
Because I looked that up.
Did
that
you?
Was,
you did the same thing?
Yeah, I looked that up.
When was the last time we had something like this?
And I think the Spanish flu 1.3 million was back in 1910. If I'm remembering correctly.
I mean, that sounds right. But
I mean, even still, like...
Yeah, like... I don't know, dude. I don't know.
I don't either.
We got
Jesus take the wheel.
I mean, that's all you can do at this point, right?
Shit.
Yeah.
Should you be scared, ladies and gentlemen? I don't know.
So,
I don't know.
Here was my inadvertent thought of the week.
What was it now?
In relation to the coronavirus. My mom, she bought that property out west. And it's on an island. Because she's been talking about moving out there
out west, like
Washington State.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
So I was texting her, and I'm gonna read through our text exchange just because I thought it was funny. So I'm talking to my mom. My mom is, doing she's checking in because she's out there right now.
Oh, she's out there now.
Even though she hasn't completely moved out there yet.
Right.
But so here's my text exchange with my mother. We were talking about some mundane stuff. I said, "Love you, but when people start turning into zombies, we're coming to stay with you on the island."
Listen.
She said, "Come on out. We're ready, but we may put you to work." I'm like, all right, that's understandable.
That's right. That works.
I ask, is it okay for me to bring my mother-in-law, or should we ditch her along the way?
Listen. What did she say? No, don't read that.
And then I said, "LOL, can you grow your own food yet, or should we pillage along the way?" She said, "My mom was a good person. She said, bring her." And she said, "Pillage away."
Listen, I get it.
I said, "Hopefully the time between the dead rising and the infrastructure collapse leaves us enough time to Google Maps our way out there."
It's like a zombie land.
Right, no doubt. And she basically said, and you don't need Google Maps. You basically take the 90, which is what 70 becomes. 71 becomes if you go north. 70 becomes if you go west.
For real?
And you take the 90 pretty much all the way across the country.
Well, we don't have Sandra Bullock with us, so we're not going to be able to take the trip with our eyes closed.
Wait. Is that Bird Box? Is that a Bird Box reference? What is that?
Bird Box.
Is that what that was? Never saw it.
Speak no evil, too. We can't even ask for directions. So now...
Well, fuck, I'm going to ask for directions anyway.
I'm just saying, it's an issue. We're getting to Washington.
Right.
What you looking at? We got,
No, we don't have anybody in yet, but it does look like the stream is working, so that's a positive over the last couple of weeks.
Shot.
I don't know. What about you? Anything going on? I mean, we were kind of talking Corona. I don't know that we want to dwell on that too long. I think everybody's kind of aware of the things that are going on, at least the folks in Ohio. Like in Ohio, they've shut down all the schools in the state for at least 3 weeks.
If life's a bitch, then Corona is the chick from Modern Family.
Now you're going to have to explain that one to me. What do you mean by that?
It's a bad one right there, boy.
See, I can't.
The chick from Modern Family.
Which chick? First of all, there's 5 different women in that show. Are you talking about the one that had the twins with the goofy boyfriend? Or are you talking about Sofia Vergara?
Have I missed out? I'm talking about Sophia.
Okay,
I must have not been.
That's what I'm waiting. I wanted to just validate that that's who you were talking about, because I look at the other. Even though the 2 girls in kind of the main family are grown now.
Oh, right.
I look at them. I still think they're little kids.
Amy with the glasses has a little dumper on.
Oh yeah.
Where'd that come from?
I don't know.
Listen. That's all I'm saying.
She got the right things on both sides. So I mean,
about her brain in there.
All right, right. Her brain and her personality.
All that.
All that. It's all good.
All that.
All that. Oh, man. And then the Democrats don't know what they want to do. That's what I wanted to talk about last week, and I had the... ended up where I ended up last week.
I realized...
Actually, I take that back. The Democrats, they know where they want to go.
Where did they
They all wanted to go to Biden.
I'm not voting.
Yeah, I'm not going to go that far because I don't want another 4 years of the current, but I understand.
I'm not voting. Listen, this is just this whole did they win Ohio? Oh, but so and so got Texas. It's fucking political Connect Four. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Right.
Like, I don't get it. Like, it's not like we all we've been here.
Yeah.
We've all been living the same life. We see what this person did, and we see what this person is saying they want to do. And we're just... They won Ohio. Connect Four. Now, Bernie's out. Connect Four.
Well, I think that's the interesting thing is when you look at, all of the people and what they were saying about Biden along the way, and now they're all endorsing him, and it's just like, it's such...
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
The beginning.
Well, and then you look at, I know this is not the politically, it's definitely not politically correct to say. I know that there are people going to be pissed off when I say this, but let Corona hit our entire government infrastructure and wipe half the motherfuckers out and press the reset button on politics, like all new blood.
That would be the best.
Would that get you back into the game and want to vote?
No, that would be the best. That would be the best possible outcome.
Right. So, yeah, that was my other inadvertent thought this week.
That was mine as well, ladies and gentlemen.
So I don't know.
No, I'm with you on that. That would be the best possible outcome.
Right. At this point,
get them all out of there.
So
powers that be.
Hit the reset button.
All that. Get them all out of there. Get them out of there. I agree.
Oh, goodness gracious. What about you, man? Anything on your mind this week?
Let's see what's on my mind. Nothing.
Nothing?
Nothing.
What do you think the best case scenario is for the NBA at this point? Are they going to have a 2020 championship? Are they, like, when they got it under control in a month and a half, are they just going to jump right to the playoffs? What do you think they're going to do?
If they were smart, they would still have a 2020 championship. Even if they postponed the NBA for 2 months, they would still be smart, or they should still be smart enough to have a championship.
Yeah.
Even if you said,
or do you just asterisk the whole season?
No,
I mean,
I
think that's why I think that's where they're going to end up.
Then what'd be the point of bringing it back? You might as well just wait until the next.
Yeah. Well, I think that may end up being what the
NFL,
what the NBA does,
They're
and
too greedy for
what
that.
the NHL does. You think?
They're all too greedy.
The problem, what you start to get into though, is you start to get too close to the next season, and player bargaining agreements in terms of having a certain number of months off or whatever the case is. That would be my only thought process there.
Yeah, no, I don't see them doing that for the NBA.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like the NBA's not going to let them wait it out until the next season. It's going to end up being like a NCAA bracket type scenario where it's like, well, these players had the best record.
How many teams are there in the NBA?
30, I believe.
It's not 32. So you do 30, the top 2 teams get a bye.
I was
and do like a full bracket.
I was thinking more along the lines of no East, no West. Top 8 teams
overall. Whoever the top 8 are right now.
Doesn't matter if it's 7 West, 1 East. Top 8 teams go in it.
5 games, 7 games.
No 7 because it's too early. 3.
Just
4.
do 3-game series.
and then championship.
I can see that. I can see that doing like a reduced playoffs.
Yeah, no point even bringing another season. Just bring the top 8 into the playoffs.
Whoever the top 8 were when they shut the league down.
Yeah, and run it.
I can see that.
And then, because like you said, you're running too close to the next season at that point.
Yeah. So you've got to have a reduced playoff structure, and you've got to have...
You can't even think about playing a regular season and going into the playoffs at that point. It's just about what next. Run them on a condensed playoff and let it be. See who wins.
Yeah.
It's good. I mean, if you really wanted to, you can just cut it all out and let's just do LA versus LA. That's really what.
Just jump to it now.
That's really what everybody wants to see is 7 games of LA versus LA. Let's see who wins it. Kawhi LeBron. AD Paul George. What's going on? What's happening? At least that's the way I see it.
How would the East feel about that?
Fuck the East. Fuck the East. You haven't entertained us for years now. It's almost like the Democrats. Right? Like, entertain me.
The Eastern Conference is the Democrats of basketball.
Once Obama left,
I don't know.
Once Obama took his talents to LA. It's like, well,
I figured that's where you were going.
Well, it's like, well, what the fuck now, Democrats? You were riding on LeBron, and he's chilling with his bitch, smoking weed. In real life. Allegedly. I guess I should say. But we all know it's factually allegedly.
What?
It was, you know what I'm saying. We all know what I'm saying. I know what I'm saying.
Fair enough.
I agree. He must somewhat.
No, honestly, I think the only sport that could survive this and keep things going would be
beach volleyball.
No, I don't think team sports are gonna fly in this. And beach volleyball being 2 people, maybe.
Boxing hadn't stopped yet.
That's what I'm thinking. Boxing and MMA, even if you were to cut out the live event,
so what? We still got to fight in July.
Right. I think you could boxing and MMA because they make so much of their money off of pay-per-views.
Right.
You could deal with there not being a crowd for a pay-per-view.
But the only thing is you would lose money on the ticket sales because you know
but
that front ring around tends to.
But what's the percentage of that versus their pay-per-view sales? You know what I mean?
I see what you're saying.
Is that 10% of their total sales comes from those front 100 rows?
Everyone buying pay-per-views.
Right. And honestly, they should be pressing into that shit. MMA and boxing.
But if I can sell a one seat for 100,000, how many pay-per-views does it take to get to
I hear you, but here's the flip side. There's no fucking competition right now. You're not competing against the NBA Finals. You're not competing against the NHL playoff season. You're not competing against MLB. You could be the only sport on fucking television for the next 2 months.
Al Heyman, Bob Arum, you heard him.
And people would pay to see it because guess what? There's no other sports to watch on TV right now.
Listen, you might as well.
I would buy pay-per-views at this point.
Listen, I would
there ain't gonna be shit to watch.
I would too. I've turned my channel from ESPN just because I'm so fucking
What the
sick
fuck
of
is ESPN gonna be talking about?
They're panicked. They have already panicked. They have.
What are they? The ESPN is gonna become just all day 30 for 30.
They've already
no more Sports Center.
It's already
no more. It's just 30 for 30s all day.
They're already in panic mode.
Well, they have to be. They have to be. That's their game, man. Like, I don't shit.
Rinse and repeat. ESPN. Rinse and repeat. That's all you get.
Fucking Disney right now, man. They're lucky they launched their streaming service, cause.
And fools agree on that.
If they hadn't launched their stream, because they shut down Disney parks.
I saw that.
They
I saw
own
that.
ESPN. They own a bunch of like sports content. If they hadn't launched Disney Plus and taken a bigger stake in Hulu with the Fox acquisition, the fuck would Disney be doing right now? Because guess what? Their parks across the world are shut down right now.
So I'm trying to figure out because I still, you know what I mean. I still want to take my daughter places and all that. I don't just want to be locked in the house.
Got to be stuff outside. And the unfortunate thing is, you and everybody else. My wife and I were talking about this earlier. Like, all right, what are we gonna do with Andrew for the next 3 weeks?
I wanted to go to that outer world shit or other world shit
Over at Easton. Is that the VR thing?
I don't know. I don't know. It's not VR. I don't think it's at Easton.
Yeah, I'm not.
It's
I'm
like
not.
a-
No, I don't
it's
know
like
what
a
I'm
art-
thinking.
it's like
Oh, the art exhibit. Yeah. I know what you're talking about. Is that what it's
like,
called?
It's black. It's like dark, and it has all
Yeah.
the light up shit.
I don't know if it was Outer World or Other World,
think
but I
it's
know
the
what you're
Other
talking
World.
about.
I think it's other world. But I wanted to take her there, but I was kind of thinking like, well, damn, that's a museum. That's an exhibit, so it's gonna be people around. Now I doubt there'd be people touching shit because it doesn't seem like the kind of exhibit that
Yeah.
you can get close enough.
Well, I'd
to
be curious
touch
if they're
shit.
even still open at this point. Like, a lot of that stuff shut
I didn't
down.
think about that.
So I tell you what, for those in Columbus, COSI shut down. Franklin Park shut down. Columbus Zoo is still open as of at least Tuesday or
You know
Wednesday.
what? Can animals get their... That's what I've been wondering.
They can't necessarily... I don't think they're affected by it, but they could be carriers of it.
Okay.
And depending what research you look at, that's actually where they think this started, was
So
with
don't
bats
pet
or
dogs,
something.
white folks.
Well,
We
don't.
know... Yeah,
Don't-
white folks.
Don't put other people's dogs.
That's what I mean. That's what... I didn't mean your own... I'm sorry. I didn't mean your own dogs. I meant y'all ready to pet other people's dogs and they run up to you. None of that, please.
Right.
Please.
You got to keep an eye on that.
Listen. Stop it, Michael.
Dude, I ain't touching anybody else's dog.
I know.
Anyway.
I know you're not.
I grew up around the brothers. I know.
I'm just saying. Listen, we didn't know if they bit. Fuck the
Right,
diseases,
right.
viruses.
My
they
son will
carry.
go up to any dog in the park,
That's
and
how
I
my
have to.
daughter
I have
was.
to teach him like,
Oh
no,
my
you
God.
need to ask their owner if it's okay for you to touch their dog. You can't just walk up to some random fucking dog you've
That's
never
how
met
my daughter
before.
was. It was to the point
and,
that I used to go to
like,
other
reach
people
to
and
it.
be like, "Did your dog bite? Well, let it bite her one time.
Just
Let her
one
learn
time,
once,
one
just
time.
once on the hand. If you can get it to bite her once on the hand, I'll give you $20 because she just thinks she could pet any fucking dog.
Right.
Let it bite her just
One time. One time.
One good, and she said, "Oh, I don't want to pet that dog no more." Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Fuck that. What?
Well, it looks like we got at least one other person watching with us. So if you're out there, go ahead, give us a send in a live chat and
I won't
join
name
the conversation.
I won't name any names, but I know who you are.
Do you?
I'm
No.
pretty sure you know who who they are. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know. Well, the problem is that every week it's been somebody. I mean, back when, before we lost all of our live stream videos, our viewers, before we lost all of our live stream viewers because I was having fucking issues.
It's been about 3 weeks we've been in this alone.
But we got it going now, so, we'll try to keep it up. If you're out there, go ahead, throw in a chat. I don't know, man. What else is going on? There's nothing else going on. I mean, at the end of the day, all right, I got a random question for you
Ask me a question.
on the coronavirus. Like,
Okay.
what industries or what companies will thrive in this environment outside of, like, the medical world?
Okay. That's a good question.
Like, what do you think? I mean, the number one that came to mind for me was like streaming services. Everybody's gonna re-up
Now-
their HBO and their Netflix
sorry.
and their Hulu.
Are we
Plus.
talking immediate, long run?
I'm thinking like during the current phase of this.
So you got streaming. One of my biggest questions was, I'll smoke myself now, America, if this isn't... What's going on with Amazon Prime?
What do you mean?
I'll kill myself now, America. If Bezos, this blood's on your hands.
They've got so much
if
out there.
I can't get a nebulizer shipped to my doorstep, if I catch the Rona.
They're starting to move it to robots anyways. Like, they need to have that drone delivery fleet ready by now.
What happened to that? That was years ago.
Well, I mean, I think they ran into
3
some.
years
I
ago.
think they ran into some just FAA blockers
They
and those
dropped
kind of things.
the package on a baby. Is what happened.
Is that what happened? I think the interesting thing is, the warehouse. The warehouse is one thing. I don't think you're going to get 2-day shipping all the way through this, but you might be able to standard shipping.
What's standard shipping?
3 to 5 business days.
Okay.
But you're not wrong. Although, fuck, everybody's going to all the stores right now anyways and buying out shit.
I think that's the dumbest
It
thing
is
in
the dumbest
fucking world.
shit.
If you're concerned about the coronavirus, why go to the place where
everybody else is
gonna be? If
you
somebody
dumb mother on that
motherfuckers
wait.
can we get that?
Yeah.
White motherfucker. We agree. If a motherfucker says, "Hey, bro, I need somewhere to go. I just came from Walmart." Die in the street, you stupid motherfucker. You're not coming in my house without a hazmat suit.
Right.
And a room I can block off for 14 days. What kind of... Yeah, I'm going to run to Walmart and buy everything that I see that I can get my hands on that other people have touched and moved and placed.
Everybody went through and touched.
Listen.
I told you, man, I tried to stop by Kroger over there on Main Street just to grab a 12-pack. Parking lot was full the last 3 days.
Kroger on Main.
Main and Nelson, yeah. That's my spot, man. Ever since they took away my one down on Livingston, the original Crow Ghetto.
That's honestly one of the most ghetto Krogers in Columbus.
The one on Main and Nelson is now, but do you remember the one that I used to go to on Livingston and Parsons?
Oh, yeah, no, that's different.
What do you mean that's different? That was different. Guess what?
You know
you
what?
better walk into that one strapped. That was the difference.
Not always.
The Main Street one is the same one Bexley uses, so it's just a unique, variant audience.
That's definitely not the same one Bexley uses.
What one do you think that? Well, they use the Giant Eagle. That's why they built that little mini Giant Eagle on Main.
They're not. They definitely are going to.
But they were. That's why they built their. That's
day.
why they built their little market district.
They were back in the day.
Especially when Nationwide bought everything on the south side of Columbus, southeast side of Columbus.
Get. Who built that? Who's the Bexley?
Built what?
Do you have a governor, mayor? Mayor. There's a mayor of Bexley.
Oh yeah.
Cut yourself.
Cut yourself.
Cut yourself.
Oh, I don't know where that went from. Honestly, the Kroger there on Main Street in Bexley, not that bad.
A Kroger, right? They said, okay, we're gonna have a
built a Kroger on the street away from another Kroger.
Abandoned houses, and then we're gonna have a neighborhood with hundreds and hundreds of $1,000s, and we're gonna build a Kroger right
smack
border,
down in between them,
and we're gonna play capture the flag.
Well, and the only
every fucking week is capture the flag.
And the only reason the hood started going there was because they shut down the one on Main or Livingston and Parsons.
Capture the
that
flag.
Used to be ours. Our store used to be the one on Livingston and Parsons.
Right. Let us live, motherfuckers.
And then Nationwide, that whole dude.
That's what I was just about to say.
Nationwide bought that entire 6 blocks.
A Kroger inside a children's hospital.
There might be. They got all sorts of stuff over there, man. It's crazy to see how the neighborhood's changed over the last 15 years this side of town. It's nuts.
We just grew up.
We did. Although it all kind of followed the whole downtown, like, and that's throughout history. That's a cyclical thing. Like, people move from the city to the suburbs, and then it comes back to the city, and then it goes back out to the suburbs. Like, we're in a little bit of a mixed period right now in terms of that, but like the development around here kind of followed the same track as the development downtown Columbus when they built Nationwide Arena. And that was kind of the start of revitalizing the Near East side of town and all that shit. So, I don't know, man.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
See, yeah, that looks about as foamy as I was doing last week. So,
but I'm not quite there. Yet.
You're not quite there yet. We'll give it
yet.
time. Give it time.
Please do.
Hiccups are a bitch, man.
Once I start getting them, then you know.
Oh, it's over. It's over.
Listen. All right. So
what else? Anything else? What do you think?
It's always something else. My thing is, I have Corona questions.
What are your Corona questions?
Number one, can you catch it twice?
Not this. I would imagine it's not the same strain because it's a virus. So
But
once
how
you've
many
developed,
strains are out there?
right now there's only the one now, and the brilliant idiots were talking about somebody that basically said had written a book or something that said in the year 2020 we were going to have some big flu-like.
It's a TED talk from Bill Gates that he says coronavirus. Back in
Does he?
2015 or something that we were good. Yeah.
Oh, this was a book from 2008.
Oh yeah, no.
But I know what you're talking about. Same idea, and that we will have this first wave this year, and then there will be a more potent strain in about 10 years that basically does the exact same thing, and then it'll go away. So that's kind of the predictions.
Built by man in period.
I mean, I don't.
It's built by man.
I hear you. Man. I hear what you're saying.
Built by man. There's no I hear you. There's
people
no I hear
people believe it originated with bats.
The ignorant. I'm not even gonna say that. I'm not even gonna say that. I'm not even gonna go there. The ignorant motherfucker.
I hear you in terms of China either as a biological weapon or population control. That was kind of our first talk track around this, right?
I don't even think it was China.
But it is interesting, and I heard this point from a couple of different people this year, or the last month or so. It's interesting how we've had the avian flu, swine flu, and now the coronavirus.
And
were they all in election years?
Now that I never even put to.
I'm just saying that's something that I had read, and I didn't do any kind of validation, so I don't want to put any kind of like that's not a fact. I'm a fool, right? Not a fact, but that is interesting though. If that's a true fact, and now I'm gonna have to go back and do my research. Like, do these major viruses come through?
President Trump, cut him.
I think you got to be careful about that when he's able to declare martial law here in a couple of weeks.
Cut him!
Just take it over.
Cut him right now. Cut him while you got the chance.
That was the other point that I saw brought up this week, and honestly, I went there myself, was look at how much they were able to shut down when they wanted to. It's interesting.
Wait. Explain to me. What are you saying? How they wanted to shut down what now?
How they basically have shut down the government has shut down society over something that we aren't sure is any worse than, say, a flu.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Oh, we can guarantee it's worse than the flu.
From what, a lethality standpoint?
They canceled the NBA.
But that's my whole point.
Fuck how many people died.
Is it though? That's what makes it lethal, is the fact that they canceled the NBA.
The NBA is gone.
Brother wildin'.
This isn't the fucking NFL or XFL.
But that's kind of my point.
It's
like
NBA.
Basically, so far, and I'm not saying the data won't prove out otherwise, yes, it's spreading faster than most viruses, and that's a concern. But from a danger and a lethality standpoint, it's no worse than the flu is.
Listen, I still feel like...
And yet they've shut down the entire world. The entire world government has basically been shut down over the last week.
We're going to have to change. Okay, so who was the cleanest person known to this world?
We mean the cleanest. The rich! Because they can afford it.
No. They're definitely not the cleanest. I may make the argument that they're the least clean.
The least clean? I don't know where
and the
you're
only
going
reason
here,
why
so
I say that
gotta
is,
hear this.
So, Darwinism, only the strong survived. Yeah, this isn't one of those situations. It's a lot of trifling motherfuckers out there, though. Don't see y'all staying on too long if y'all don't learn how to wipe your ass and wash your hands. I saw a dude from my job. I probably shouldn't even said that because I'm sure people can figure it out. That took a shit and walked out the bathroom. Now, I'm not going to say his race. He was white.
I'm not going to say it. Nasty motherfuckers. White people, am I right?
Took his shit and walked out the bathroom without washing anything. I don't even know if he wiped his ass. That it was just that, like. And I'm
okay,
not
but
saying, I'm not saying that it's your fault. It's your fault.
What are you talking about?
We're your fault.
We're the ones buying all the toilet paper and hand sanitizer.
You already know. You're on this side of the fence.
I heard black people are immune from the coronavirus.
I heard that too.
Do fools agree on that one?
No, I don't know. I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I want to.
Oh, man.
I would like to. But I don't know if I want to.
Black Twitter told me that. Did you know that's an entire subculture on Twitter?
Black Twitter will kill Black Twitter if Black Twitter lets it. Can't trust everything. Let me tell you that right now.
That was probably one started by white people.
But what I will say... But what I will say is...
We are the worst.
What I will say is... Wash out some motherfucking hands, especially when you wipe your ass. I've never in my life seen that.
Do fools agree?
Oh,
do fools agree?
Listen, if we don't agree on this, podcast is shut down today.
Shut it down. Shut it all down.
This motherfucker walked out of the bathroom. How do I know he shit? Because I smelt his ass crack. Walked out the bathroom and out the door.
Just gone.
Didn't even put his hand under the... Mind you, you can get a towel just by running your hand under there. You don't have to touch anything.
You don't actually have to touch anything. Well, maybe he had hand sanitizer at his desk.
Man, he better have hand sanitizer under his balls. Trifling, non-wiping
motherfucker.
That's all I'm saying.
I don't know. That's pretty disgusting there, Mr.
But if I can say anything from that situation, it's that it makes me feel comfortable that you'll die off first.
Yeah, natural selection, man.
Listen, so which is why I said it's not gonna be the strong that survives. No Darwinism. Who's the clean one of the? When Gandhi,
well, and that's been the big
Gandhiism.
That's been the big thing that they've talked about is like, this is all shit you should be doing anyways. Right.
Oh,
but no, let's go out there and buy some toilet paper and some bottled water.
Who was the clean? It's not Mother Teresaism.
Right.
Who's the clean one of them all?
I don't know.
I don't either.
I thought you said you had it.
I didn't. That's why I was asking you.
Oh, that was a question.
Yeah, I was asking you.
I thought it was rhetorical because you already had the answer.
I have answer less. I
don't know. Yeah.
But yeah, we're beyond only the strong survive. Now we're only the hygienic, only the smart, only the conscious, only the aware. But the rest of y'all motherfuckers, bull. Listen.
I don't know.
Goodness gracious. Goodness gracious.
Yeah.
What next? What else?
I don't know, man. I feel like at some point we got to get to this.
Excuse me.
I'll call it part 2 of the Who's the Fool series. And I might have to get around to asking you some questions. Because I think it's important that our audience gets to know you a little better, since you gave them such the opportunity of getting to know me. And I thought it was a good segment. Honestly, we talked about this after that episode. I thought that was one of our better episodes, one of our best that we've done so far. And I don't know that I'm going to be able to guide the question quite as deep as you were. You had some real head scratchers there. You are deep. You're a deep dude.
I'm a professional. Not interrogator, interviewer, all that.
Interrogator might actually be more apropos.
That's why I started with that. Just cause.
So I don't know if we want to get into that. If you got anything else you want to talk about first. I mean, I'm happy to we can jump in, and like I said during my interview, I can treat you like a first date and interview you.
Okay. So before we start,
do I need to buy you dinner first?
Definitely need dinner first. That's definite. But before we start,
what you got?
If I could ask you a question.
Oh, yeah. You gonna turn it back on me?
Yeah.
You dirty motherfucker.
We're not gonna easy. It wasn't easy for me. It ain't gonna be easy for you. So, if I could ask you
to speak into the microphone.
Well, I'll never do that. So get used to it.
Obviously.
Now, that is crazy that it's just me and you, and I still can't.
Just still looking at
my direction.
At the other. Either look at the camera or look at me, Cliff. I don't know.
I don't think I have looked at the camera one time.
I don't know. You got your sleepy eyes going right now.
My question.
What's your question?
So, if the coronavirus could end one thing forever, what would it be?
The upper echelon of our entire government.
I guess that's repetitive.
Sorry.
No.
I mean, if you were gonna shut down anything or anything that's been shut down would never come back, I don't know that I have a good answer in terms of. Nah, I don't have a better answer than that.
That was a great answer.
I tried to think about it, and no, that's the best answer I can come up with. Because I think it's about time for a reset on our political institutions.
I agree as well.
And I think this would be a more humane way than us going to war over it and having some sort of civil war.
I agree. Don't think it would be right.
I hear you.
I feel like...
Is that our new shirt, by the way? Is that what we landed on? I hear you on one side, and what was the other one?
You're not wrong.
You're not wrong on the other.
Listen.
I'm trying to identify our most common phrases, and Mr. Jennings brought a couple to my attention before this show today.
You're not wrong.
And he's not wrong.
I'm saying is,
What are you saying?
I don't think I'm saying anything.
No? You got nothing? Nothing to say?
No.
Are you sure?
I might have to. We might. Now, what's gonna happen in what month is this?
March.
April, May. 2 months. We talked about the watch party. Fuck the watch party. What's gonna happen is I'm gonna learn sign language. I'm gonna do it above my head while we have these podcasts. And that's gonna be the secret. What's the word for it?
I don't know what you're saying.
What's the word for it?
What word are you looking for?
I don't
The
know
secret
what the
language,
word...
the secret code, the
Right. I'm gonna be doing the itsy bitsy spider above my head the whole time while we do our podcasts. And we'll be laughing and joking. And all the while, the itsy bitsy spider will be up the water spout. That's all I want you to know.
I don't understand what that means at all.
It's not for you to understand.
Obviously. We did say, though, by June, if we can do some live watch-alongs with the fights, I'd be game for it. I just need to get a TV up here. So we can do that.
That was just a sidebar.
I don't know what's happening right now.
You shouldn't.
Oh, man. All right, hey. You want to take a quick break? Do we need a break? You want to keep pushing through? What do you think?
Well, that's up to you, sir. In the light of Corona, I've wore a colostomy bag everywhere I've gone.
That's disgusting. I think that would actually make you more likely to get corona per our previous conversation.
That could. But if I was to get corona, it wouldn't matter.
Why? Why wouldn't it matter?
Then you said
it would matter to me, Mr. Jennings. Who would I?
Corona.
That's
Isn't that what you said? That's what I thought.
I said they were immune. Then you wouldn't get it.
Pay attention, blacks. Black folks.
I don't even know. I don't even know what to do with you sometimes.
I don't know what to do with me anytime.
All right. Fuck it. Let's go into this.
Oh, you got it?
We're going to run this. We're going to run this. I'm going to start this off with a little bit of rapid fire, and then we'll get into some fun stuff, all right?
Fun stuff.
We'll ask you some questions. Maybe you give us some legit answers. Maybe you just talk your way around the whole fucking time. We'll see. But we're going to start off with a rapid section, rapid fire.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What's your favorite comedy movie?
Comedy movie.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's not Kingpin. The Rocker.
The Rocker? I don't even know what that is. All right, moving on. Favorite TV show? Either all time or right now. I don't care which.
Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
That's a good one. Favorite comedian?
Dave Chappelle.
Favorite music artist?
Kevin Gates.
Favorite porn site?
XNXX.
That's a good one. Night manage. Two fools agree. Just trying to help people out there. Favorite song, either of all time or right now?
Of all time or right now. Time out. I'll give you both.
You get a 30-second. 30
second
timeout.
Okay. All time.
And while Cliff is looking up his favorite song of all time, I'm going to ask you all to go out there, give us a like, a subscribe, either on YouTube, Search for Do Fools Agree, Foolproof Entertainment Network, or check us out on foolproof.live if you want to support the show and throw us a little donation. And then always go check us out on Facebook at Foolproof Entertainment Network, and then give us a shout on Twitter. What do you got?
Okay, favorite song, Kirk Franklin. Whoa, whoa, do you want a revolution? Whoop, whoop. Do you want a revolution? Hey, listen.
That's good. All right.
What was the other one you asked me?
I said either all time
Crime
or right
Mob,
now.
Nuck if you buck. Nuck if you buck, bitch. Nuck if you buck, boy. Nuck if you buck, boy. Nuck if you buck, boy.
Taking me back.
Yep. Run that bitch.
Favorite color?
Kirk. Black.
Last show you watched. Last show you binged, rather.
That's a tricky one, cause I would. Oh no, Netflix. Morgan Freeman.
Is there a Morgan Freeman series on Netflix?
There sure
I missed that one.
Michael.
Might have to go check that one out.
The God one.
Okay.
About God, the different
I don't know that one. I'll have to check that out.
Never watched that?
Mm-mm.
It's about different countries.
Is it different religions and different colors?
And what they believe in. And
Okay.
Afterlife, and if they, it's a good one.
Gotcha. No, I haven't
great.
seen
You'd
that
like it.
one. I would.
I know you'd like
I'm
it.
big on the world religion. I mean, that was the thing about going
and it's
to
Morgan Freeman too narrating it.
Right.
So that's
I was trying to think if I had the voice, and I don't have it right.
no, you
now.
don't even do it. Yeah, you started off Obama.
That's because that's where I go.
Right.
Sometimes President Trump, I'm not sure he knows how to handle this coronavirus.
You haven't meeting Obama.
Sometimes I have to be just the right amount of drunk
Right.
to handle the Obama voice. If I'm too drunk, it turns into I'm not sure what.
You gotta meet Obama.
But at times, yes, we can do the Obama voice.
You gotta meet
I have
Obama.
to be in that sweet spot, though. I gotta be in that sweet spot.
You're in it.
All right. Next question. Do you have any impressions? Can you do any impressions?
No.
No.
That's
None?
That's easy.
None.
No.
All right. Favorite color? You said black.
Uh-huh.
Favorite food?
What kind of food? That's what I'm.
Favorite dinner food. Favorite food for dinner.
Before we go there too, I feel like that's the same question for favorite color, because when people ask you favorite,
You
color,
like black? That's your food? Anything that's black?
I said we gotta go back to favorite color. As well. Favorite color.
Thought you already said it was black.
Right, but
So why we
it's
gotta go
different.
back?
We don't gotta go back.
Per the mood?
Mm-hmm.
Per what you wear?
Not even
Like
what you wear.
what instance are we talking about the color in?
Right, like black's always gonna be one of my black and green.
See, I always thought it was green. I seem to remember that being a thing growing up. So I was surprised when you said black, because my instinct was that it was green.
And that is a good instinct.
Yeah.
But
Can't win them all.
no.
Can't win them all, ladies and gentlemen. You think you know a guy.
Yeah, you think you do.
Known this
No,
motherfucker
black.
for 30 years, and you think you know a guy.
Not green.
Black.
Black. You motherfucker. Now, what was the question
Favorite
before
dinner
that?
food.
Okay, and then I said this
Favorite
is
food
when
for
I say-
dinner.
Okay, so I am a steak guy.
You like steak?
Rare, not medium rare.
Oh, see, I'm a medium rare guy. You gotta have a
Rare.
little. You gotta have a little. It's gotta be brown on the outside, pink on the inside.
Right, and that's fine, but I want it cool on the inside.
There's a joke there about the way I like my women. I got nothing.
I like mine dead. So
Wait, what?
cool on the inside is the joke. I'm sorry. It didn't land. I apologize.
It didn't. Two fools do not agree on
that one. On camera. But.
Woo, buddy, I can't go with you there.
But.
Moving on. What was the last thing you read? Non-digital.
Instructions.
Instructions for what? The air fryer. That's called a callback, ladies and gentlemen. Those that have been following us for the last week. No, for real. Last thing you read, either outside of instructions, either for pleasure or for, or to learn. Because I feel like you're somebody that reads a fair amount, even if it's not like consecutive. Like I feel like you in my mind are a constant learner. Is that?
I don't buy. Yeah, no, I always
investigate. Like I feel like you like to investigate.
Yeah, I would say that you're.
So what was the last thing that you read up on?
Read up on or read in general?
I think both.
Okay.
Try to open it up for you a little here.
Let's see. That's a good question.
And outside of the coronavirus, because we talked about that already. So you said you read up a little bit on like Spanish flu and all that.
This may, before I answer the question, I don't read on the coronavirus because I don't give a fuck.
Fair point.
I do.
Well, obviously,
partially give a fuck.
Right. We were just having a conversation before this.
Give a fuck. I'm not gonna say I don't just give a fuck, but the one thing that bothered me is that they said that in the coronavirus that the congestion is equivalent to people saying they drowning, the feeling of drowning,
which is just like pneumonia, and that was actually the.
I've had that before.
That was actually the comment that I'm remembering from Brilliant Idiots, is the book that they were referencing. They said a pneumonia-like disease was going to grip the world in 2020 was the book
people
prediction.
Are soft.
I mean, once fluid starts building up in your lungs, there's not a lot you can do about it.
But the drowning feeling?
But that's what happens. It's fluid filling up your lungs. I don't know what corona's doing. I'm saying that's what pneumonia is that your lungs are basically, there's fluid that's building up there and they're not, your body isn't able to drain it naturally.
Why not?
That's why it's an illness. I don't know. I don't have the answer for you there. I'm not a doctor. I'm a fool.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. What would be the difference from any other illness? Like, any cold sets in your lungs, right?
Right, but I think it's the amount of fluid that starts to build up. So like a cold and generally like just not feeling well, usually that sits in your throat. And yeah, you can get that kind of like chest cold, but the chest cold is when you start to worry about pneumonia.
Okay, well at least I know. Oh!
So coming back to, what was the last thing
I will say
you read up on or read?
McCain.
What about it?
Is our vice president.
What? Pence is our vice president.
Pence. Mike is his name.
Mike Pence. Yeah.
Was his name Mike McCain?
Shit. What was McCain's? Fuck. I should know that.
Well, it doesn't matter. I just found out Pence was our vice president.
Mike Pence. Yes.
Just found that out.
Just found it out.
Just found that out within this past week.
Oh yeah,
that's our vice
because
president.
He's the one that's heading up all the corona stuff, is what it's supposedly being said. Honestly, at this point,
I should know, right?
At this point, the state governments are doing a better job than the federal government in terms of managing corona.
I only said that because I'm not voting.
John McCain, by the way. It's John. It's John McCain.
And Mike Pence.
And Mike Pence.
Same person, ladies and gentlemen.
They got the same kind of look.
They
John,
right?
John McCain, even though, I wouldn't have voted for him back in the... But better dude than
he fell off the
90%.
He fell off the stage.
Yeah.
Gotta give him his vote after he's, 70-something?
Fell off the stage.
Uh-huh.
Oh, man. All right, last couple here for the... What was the last YouTube video you remember watching?
Last YouTube?
Or World Star, or whatever.
Listen, that Wale boy. Wale and Megan Thee Stallion. That boy was rough. That was a good one.
This is where my whiteness affects me. I don't know what you're talking about. I used
Definitely.
to keep up on World Star, but I got nothing anymore.
I didn't know
World Star is blocked at Alliance State.
Listen, all I know is Megan Thee Stallion and Wale. Damn it.
All right, well, I'm going to have to look that up.
Just make sure your wife's still awake or you got lotion.
Favorite porn star is the last question.
Favorite porn star.
Since you asked me that one 2 weeks ago.
Favorite porn star of any nationality.
Yeah, open it up.
Okay, so I'm gonna. Not only will I answer your question, I will answer it in.
Or are you gonna give me
detail.
multiple? What kind of videos did they do? What kind of?
No, we're not gonna go there.
What are they known for?
Favorite porn star right now is gonna have to be Honey Gold.
Honey Gold. All right.
That's overall porn star. Favorite white porn star at the moment is... I have one that pops to mind every time, which is Kimmy Granger.
Kimmy Granger. Okay. I at least know of Kimmy Granger.
I don't know what it is about her, but listen.
The name has just popped up recently. I don't know.
And then lastly, at the moment, I've been on my in the past type shit. What's
in the past?
Yeah, my classics is what I have.
He's got a playlist and everything.
What is her name?
I don't know.
It's gonna bother me.
Well, if you think about it, we can come back to it. Unless you think you're gonna get it. Unless you think you're gonna get it.
I'm sure I will.
All right, now we're gonna move in.
I'm sure I will.
We're gonna move into phase 2 of the interview now.
Okay.
We're gonna try to keep this a little light.
I'm still feeling like I have to say who I. Continue.
No, if you think you're gonna get it, if you think
I
you're
don't
gonna get the
think I got
pool,
it.
you don't think you got it.
No, I feel like I have to though.
All right. Well, we're gonna move into the second phase of this.
Okay.
Of this conversation that we're embarking on here together, Mr. Jennings.
Okay.
If you could live in any fictional universe, so existing but fictional, what fictional universe would be your preferred universe
300.
to live in? The 300 universe?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
it.
know it's probably not fictional, but
I was about to say that kind of plays into the other side of this question, which was which period in history would you want to live in, and would it be the same thing? Would
I
be
wanna
like
live in
ancient Greece and Roman
so
times?
Let's reverse it then. That's where I'd want to live, in a 300 Viking Valhalla type universe, where all you have to worry about is being a good fighter. That just seems like that.
And you think that would be successful for you? I mean, you're kind of small, dude.
Yes, I think that would be very successful for me.
Can you fight with a sword? No, I know you can fight. I know you can fight straight up. Do you think you would be able to learn with like weapons and that kind of shit?
I would be more than happy
And
to
would that
be.
and would that be your entire life? Is that all you would
Yes.
be? It would be a fighter.
What else would I be expected to be?
I don't
A
know.
lover?
What would you? What
A
would you?
fighter and
What
a
do you
lover
think?
is all I
What do
had
you think
there.
that would become in terms of like? Is that just the end all be all of your life at that point? Is you are just a soldier,
Yeah,
just a
fight.
fighter?
That's all
Okay.
I'm here for is to protect
Okay.
and serve.
I could rally behind that. That makes sense. All right.
Yeah, no, that's all.
All right.
Yeah,
That's all you got.
that's
That'll
all
work.
I would be interested in doing. But
Um,
you asked me a question before that I feel like
the fictional universe. Well, I mean, but if you think that the fictional universe
Okay.
and the historical like period in time would be the same, that's fair. Like, I mean, personally, like for me, the fictional side would be, I would love to be in the point of like
some X-Men
the
type
the
shit.
Star Trek universe. Like,
You know.
we have gotten past our differences as humanity, and the threats are external to the human race
What
at
was
this
that
point.
movie where? What was that movie where? It was made by the same people that made 300, where you die and you went to heaven and you fought forever.
I don't remember that one.
Immortals.
Maybe. I that premise doesn't sound familiar to me.
Yeah, I think that. You don't see the Immortals.
Like I said, you might be right. It just doesn't it's not ringing a
I
bell.
can't think right now, and I don't see.
Well, we'll see if it comes back. Again, if it comes
I'll look
back
it
to you,
up on my
then
phone.
holla up. Most influential artist in your life, whether that's music, art, poetry. When it comes to the art forms, because honestly, like growing up, you were probably one of the more artistic in our crew. Whether that was the music side, you, if I remember correctly, you did a pretty good job like sketching and artwork wise back in the day too. Like, so who influenced you from that perspective?
Myself,
Just yourself?
my father. My father was pretty artistic.
Was he?
He was pretty artistic. It was Immortals too.
Was it Immortals?
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm not familiar with it, so.
Yes. I take my answer back though.
Do you?
Now that I'm looking at that. But what you were asking was, what were you asking?
Musical influence
Music
or
influence.
artistic influence,
Artistic.
or not even necessarily
No.
influence. What was something that resonated with you, like?
I get it.
Because you and I have talked about introducing a segment on this show, so I'm curious on what would it like.
Mm-hmm.
What
No
would be the
need.
topics? You know what I
No
mean?
need at the moment to worry about topics. Just know that I feel that there are. How can I put it? There are different things that are introduced to us on a daily that we either, recognize and, acknowledge, or we overlook. I feel like a lot of that has come from, government shit. Let's be real. Like, let's be real. They killed music. They killed art in the school systems. And now we're in a situation where you can see it happening on a daily basis. Like look at all the movies. Like we talked about this a couple
Weeks
episodes ago. Like
Yeah.
all the movies that they're making, it's the same shit over and fucking over again. Like it's like nothing's new, nothing's. It's almost to the point like where they.
But I
say,
think that that's the point of my question is, you're saying that.
Uh huh.
So
Help me
before that changed, what were the things that resonated with you, either from a music perspective or from an art perspective?
Before I noticed all this.
Before you noticed that it felt like things were just getting to be the same shit over and over again. Like,
well, I don't think
what has resonated with you?
I don't think it was anything. I don't think it was the way you're thinking of it.
Say more.
Me, I feel like I am. I'm competitive.
Okay.
So when you think of art or pictures or movies or whatever the case may be, you think of it from your own imagination. I feel like I'm so competitive that I'm saying to myself, my imagination is better than yours. I can go further. I can understand. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
So
But I also remember us being young.
Uh-huh.
And so we used to walk from our elementary school
Uh-huh.
to the library and get on the computers and that kind of stuff. And you would download artist lyrics. You would download things that I thought... Yeah, you did. And you used to print out like massive pages of lyrics and shit. So that's where I'm curious, like, because I know what we used to talk about growing up. Like, you and I were both fans of X. You and I were both fans of Pac. You and I were both fans of Eminem. Like, that's where I'm curious, like, of that period. And that was like what, 6th grade, 7th grade. Like, okay, things that may not be what sticks with you. But that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, and again, this goes back to, and I think you and I have different views on this too. Like, I think understanding what resonates with a person helps you understand the person. Because if it resonates with them, chances are you feel at least somewhat the ideals of what resonates.
I agree.
So that's why this is the question. And I know, and I hear what you're saying around the competitive angle. Like, you, and honestly, what you're saying doesn't shock me at all, but that's why I'm trying to figure out, like, of the things that we talked about when we were younger, what are the ones that still stick with you? Rather than...
I mean, that would be...
I understand you're a bitter old man now. Like, I get that.
And that would be assuming I remember any of the things we talked about when we were younger. Let's be honest, I don't remember.
I think that's a fair point. And honestly, that's not, and that's, I tell you what, I have this conversation with Shar all the time. Like, Shar can't tell you what we did 2 weeks ago, let alone 5-6 years ago when we first met. We've had the conversation around like empathy and deja vu. My other problem is I'm not going to say I have a straight up photographic memory, but I have a very good memory. And so like I remember conversations from 3 years ago. I remember specific instances like growing up, like so that's where, again, my problem is that I remember a lot of that shit, and so maybe I put more weight on it than others do, which I think is actually, it's fascinating.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't know.
It's not so easy when people are asking you questions, is it? Well, I got a question for you. Who was your favorite Spice Girl growing up? Because I tell you what, you want to talk about things that I remember.
Growing up,
I remember sitting with you at our elementary school, like 1st, 2nd grade. I'm talking, and you had the Spice Girls cassette tape that we were listening to during summer camp, summer school. I remember at Mansion. Shout out to D. James, Pete James, etc. Come out on the show sometime. So yes, I remember you listened. Like you were excited about your Spice Girls
My
cassette
favorite
tape. So who
Spice
was your
Girl,
favorite Spice Girl?
Uh,
Was it the black
was
one?
Beckham.
The scary one? I
It
didn't
was
think it
Beckham's
was.
bitch.
Oh, Posh Spice.
Scary's my
It was a
second.
Victoria. Was that her name? That's what I'm seeming to remember.
I don't know what names. No, I don't know
But
names.
Posh Spice. That's Beckham's
I know
wife.
that.
Yeah.
I know that much. I know that name.
All right.
That was my number one. Scary.
That was the black one.
That's my number two. That was Eddie Murphy's baby mom, wasn't it?
I have no idea.
So her box was probably whack.
That's right.
Let me stop. Why
don't you stop?
Cause
See, I was a Sporty fan myself, so I get it.
Sporty was the blonde.
No, the blonde was Baby. Baby
so who
Spice.
Was Sporty?
Sporty was the. I mean, she was the sporty one.
I know, right?
I don't fucking know. Was that the other Victoria? Weren't there two Victoria? There was like two of the same name. I don't fucking remember.
What are those?
Dude.
I don't even know the names. I'm just.
All I can think of is she's in the what is it, the wannabe video. She's literally in like stretchy yoga pants and a sports bra. That's Sporty Spice. And if there's anybody out in the chat that wants to correct us on our Spice Girls knowledge.
Yeah, can we please? Is there any that still exists?
Right. I think my wife went to go see them at some point.
Uh-oh now. Listen.
I remember the Spice World, the movie that came out.
Yeah, that was awful.
It was so bad, but
that was awful.
Know.
I thought. Listen.
All right, wait. We got this here. You had Victoria Beckham, obviously.
The posh.
Oh, Melanie B was Scary Spice. Right. Melanie C was Sporty Spice.
Okay, I don't know. What
Jerry was Ginger Spice, and then Emma Bunton. Emma was Baby Spice.
There was 5 of them.
There were 5 of them.
Okay. I knew 2.
Well, that wasn't bad.
For sure.
Well, I knew the 3.
I like to. I'm sure I could point out all of them.
You could point them out by nickname. You might not have known their name.
Right.
So that one I just wanted to throw out there because
all of my bed.
When we talk about remembering things from the past, I remember sitting literally around a square cassette tape player and listening to it with you. So
I tell you what,
whatever they won't. We're gonna take a quick break because I'm not too far behind Cliff, and we're gonna continue this interview when we come back. So I want to thank you all for listening, and we'll be back in like 2 minutes. Appreciate it. All right, and we are back. As always, thank you for indulging us for, quick little bio break. Oh, man. All right. So I know you think you were getting out of this. We're going to keep it going. I think we're going to keep it going.
Keep it going.
Keep it going. Let's see. Any other lighthearted ones? I got a question for you.
Ask away.
How many people have you hooked up with?
That's a good question.
What's your number?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Why? Because there's some that are in question that you don't remember if it actually happened or not, or you just lost count.
I'm sure that.
What do you mean? I'm sure of that. Which one of those?
Both.
A little bit of A, a little bit of B.
Nah, but if I'm being honest, it hasn't been as many as you would think.
That was actually my prediction on that, was that I think that people have, or maybe it's just me, have a view of you that I'm not sure is entirely true.
Yeah, no,
like I think of you as much more of a playboy than you actually are.
Right. I don't think
Is that a fair statement?
That's definitely a fair statement, and I can say that for a fact it hasn't been more than 50.
Okay, well, 50 is a big number. Oh, man.
Does that mean no?
I think 50 is a big number, but
No, there's no way there's been more than 50. I'm thinking.
Well, maybe you are. Maybe you are what I thought you. He is who we thought he was. They are who we thought they were.
I have a wrong understanding on what I thought I was. Because I thought, listen, I ain't gonna throw nobody else under the bus.
You don't need to throw anybody else under the bus. We talking about you.
Yeah. No more than 50. 50. I'd say 44. If I threw it.
44. That's a lot more than I thought it would be, considering I rarely see you with a woman. I mean, we also don't go out like that. Usually when we're hanging out, we're hanging out. We're not necessarily it's not like you and I are hitting the town together. And on top of that, for the last 7 years, 5 years, 7 years, something like that, I've been in a committed relationship. So I'm obviously not going out and trying to do that kind of stuff. And honestly, you know me, I was serially monogamous, meaning even throughout college and my different phases of life, for the most part, I was with someone. Listen, doesn't mean that I didn't have my time.
You've talked to more females' mothers than I have.
That's probably true. I definitely a larger percentage of the women that I've been with.
Listen, I know one specific scenario that you remember.
Wait, one specific? No, you gotta give me a little bit of a clue here.
You remember that?
On my side? Or your side?
Well, yeah, it was your side. I mean, that's where.
Give me a first name.
I can't give a first name.
See, I don't know who you're talking about now. That's all right, though.
In the case of the missing.
What you got?
In the case of the missing.
If it makes you feel better, my number's 23, 24.
Okay.
So.
That's not bad.
No, I mean, I said, I had a good time in the tail end of college.
Oh no! I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about me.
The 44.
Judging your number off of my number.
Off of your number, that's not bad.
It's not that bad. Okay, it's not as bad as he said it was.
Your number wasn't as bad as you thought I was gonna say it was.
I'm thinking to myself like he says 23. Okay, that's not that. That's not that. I'm not thinking
it's
about
almost
you.
double.
I'm thinking about me. Okay,
it's almost double, but you're better looking than me, so I get it. Hey, man, I understand. But actually, that's a funny story, too. So, we are at what was once known as Wyandotte Lake. Now it's like Zumbizi Bay or some shit. And all I remember was climbing the up the rafting slide, the tube slide with you and probably Shelby and Gordon. And the lifeguard saying how pretty your eyes were. And you were a good dude. You were a good wingman. This I don't know, probably 16-year-old white girl. You're like, well, look at his eyes. He's got pretty blue eyes too. And I appreciated that even back in the day. You were always a good friend. I appreciate it.
I stay out the way. I stay out the way. Just like issues in the past.
Issues in the past? Is that what you got?
Yeah, you do. I'm sure whomever was involved in that situation realized what I'm talking about before your dumbass.
It's probably true, because I don't know what you're referring to right now. And maybe it's because I've met so many of the
How many moms have called you?
How many moms have called me? What do you mean?
Hot tub nights.
But the only mom that's ever called me
You're a fool.
has actually called me wasn't one that I never hooked up with her. I'm just saying. And we're not talking about me right now. God damn it. All right, I got a question for you. How do you think others describe you?
A cool motherfucker. A cool motherfucker. How do they describe me?
If it helps you put it into context, how would others describe you versus how you think you would describe yourself? These are the same questions I ask candidates for roles that will be reporting to me, by the way.
I'm not reporting to you, by the way.
What you got to say, Mr. Jennings?
I don't know. My first reaction is fuck you and that question. And that question. Fuck y'all and that question. I don't know.
Is that where you're going to leave it?
What was the question?
How would you describe yourself versus how others would describe you?
That's a good question. See,
would it help? Would it help if I gave you context?
No, I don't need context.
Like, what if I said at work or in your personal life? Like,
I feel like that's almost a trick question because I don't quite know how they would see me.
Well, of course you don't know. You don't know how they would see you.
I also don't quite know if the way they believe they would see me is an accurate portrayal of me.
Well, that's kind of the point of the question.
No. Because one of the questions was as opposed to how you see yourself.
Yeah.
So that's not...
You think that's leading? That you don't see yourself the way that others see you?
Clearly.
Well, what do you think those differences are?
Well, I think my cock's a lot bigger on my end.
That's probably true.
Secondly,
See, I'm trying to stay away from like personal situations that I know, but still ask you some deeper meaning questions. So I hear you, but if you want, we can move on to the next one.
I'm trying.
All right, here's one for you.
Okay.
What's one of your proudest moments of your life? What's something that you're proud of that you've been a part of or done?
I think if I don't answer this right, this could be a lot more depressing than it
And that's not my intent. My intent is not to depress you.
Okay.
God damn.
Okay.
But you hit me with some deep thinkers, so I'm trying to return the favor.
Ooh, where's your daughter where you need her? Help me out, baby!
That should be that could be one of them is just your daughter.
That's it. She's it. That's all I made her for. Not for her own well-being, to protect me. To have a kid to protect me.
All right.
I'm selfish. What's next?
You're selfish. Well, I was gonna ask you about your flaws, but you just
I'm selfish.
you just acknowledged it.
Shit, I don't know.
Do you think anything waits for you after this life, after this world? I know we kind of got into this during.
Waits for me?
Anything?
You know what?
In terms of does this not necessarily this existence, but does
agree.
existence continue?
I definitely agree existence continues. Not only do I agree existence continues, I agree with the first question that you asked, that I honestly agree that I am that important, that this next life that I live will be a subsidiary of the one I'm living now.
So it'll be related.
Correct. I can't say that I'm just that dude enough to where it will all make sense from here, but definitely it's gonna break away from this to that.
Is that like a reincarnation thing or a continuation in a different form of existence or
A continuation in a different form of existence. I don't
Okay.
think it's ever going to be a reincarnation. If that was the case, then I feel like, what's the point? You know what I mean? Like, what's the point of us living if we're just going to continue living in a sense of what we already know?
Okay.
If that makes sense.
No, I think it does.
So, with that being said, I think it's more of the dream about being an animal, fucking an animal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
In terms of that, like, kind of next level
Like,
of
that
existence.
trips me
Yeah,
out, right?
yeah.
It still trips me out as to what that dream may mean. And it may not even be a dream. It may be the reality that I lived before today.
Or the previous reality.
Right.
I
And
can
I'm
see
just
that.
now developing the sense to be able to look into that realm.
Yeah. I can see that. All right.
Either way, it doesn't matter. I feel like I'm gonna fuck the next world like I'm fucking this one. That's what I do believe.
I mean,
hide my dick in the next life, ladies and gentlemen.
And the 44
while
is the
I've-
game with it.
Right, while I've only touched about 40 of them.
What is it, the 144,000? Isn't that the
The
Jehovah's?
The ones meant. They meant something. I'm telling you that right now.
I hear you. Let's see. All right, I only got like 2 or 3 more.
You can ask as many as you like.
Well, I mean, I'm only getting answers on like half of them, so.
Oh, I'm not answering. Okay. Okay.
Do you have any desire to ever get married?
No.
No.
No. I honestly, and if I'm being 100% honest, there's only a few people I can think of at this specific moment that I would marry. And if I'm being 100%,
that's better than most, I guess.
But I'm just saying, if I'm being 100% honest, I would never marry them because you deserve more.
They deserve more. You deserve more.
They deserve more.
Why do you feel that way?
Because I'm never gonna be anything but me.
Say
Period.
more. Like your ability to care for them. Your
All that.
okay.
All that. I have issues with the ability I have to care for my own child. So I couldn't imagine being with someone
In
else.
terms of just like a level of attachment to her, or what do you mean?
What do you mean when you say attachment?
I don't know. That's like I'm
What I'm
legit
saying
like
is,
you
I
brought
don't
up your
know.
child in this context, so I'm
Right.
curious as to like
So what I'm saying is,
what
I
you
don't
meant
know
by that.
from the realm of love, from my understanding, that I could give my daughter what she deserves.
So how could you?
Let alone giving someone
somebody
else
else.
that I'm expected to be physical with. I'm
I
not
hear you.
expected
I hear
to
you
be
on that.
physical with my daughter.
Right.
I can give her everything because you deserve it.
Right.
But a woman that I'm expected to be physical with, that's where it gets deep. That's where it's like, not only am I expected to hold you on the throne above my shoulders, but I also have to protect you in the same regard. You get what I'm saying?
I hear you.
If you're worth enough that you're worth more than the weight I could bear on my shoulders, but on top of that, I still have to protect you in that same way.
Yeah. I hear you on that point in terms of, one, I think that that's just how men view relationships in general, right? Like in terms of if we're going to provide that level of commitment, part of that level of commitment is being the protector, being the provider, being
Right.
the X, Y, and Z. And unfortunately, what I think we've seen more and more, and this isn't some toxic masculinity bullshit. I think we are expected now to not only provide that physical, financial support and stability, but now we're also expected to provide the emotional support and stability.
Is that what it is?
I think that part scares me more than like the physical and financial.
I'm with
I am
that's-
completely on board with that piece. It's that, in my experience, it's having to also provide that emotional stability as well. And I think that it's tough, man. It's tough. Like I love my wife. Love her
My
to
question
death.
is, how do you?
In terms of do all of it,
No.
not
how
very
do you-
well.
How do you provide the emotional?
I think for us, and I mean, you've been witness to the
I
journey.
feel like it's your mom's job.
What do you mean?
If I'm being 100% honest, it's your mom's job.
Your mom's job to what? Oh, her mom's job?
It's usually women that need the
Emotional support.
more than the male.
Agreed. That's what I'm saying.
Which is why I said that's your mom's job. Because as a man, I can't understand.
I can't give you that emotional support.
I can't even understand what it is you're wanting from me.
I
Your
completely
mom,
agree.
on the other hand, knows
This is-
exactly
This
what
is
she
the
wanted
argument
from me.
that she and I have gotten into I don't want to say a lot recently, but recently that's been the thing is, like, I don't know what you need from me right now. Like, I am a provider. I take care of 80% of the stuff around the house. Like,
let me tell you something right
so
now.
I feel you on that.
And this is a call back to your men feeling inadequate.
Yeah.
Never been a woman. Never would want to be. But if I was, you would be a secure guy, is what I'm getting at. You know what I'm saying?
You'd go steady with me, Cliff?
I don't know if I can say that. Almost.
I appreciate it, sir.
It's what I'm getting. And I don't know if that's just me saying that from a man's perspective as what I would expect a woman to want.
Yeah.
You're financially stable. You're not the hardest around the edges as far as, emotions go.
Right.
You can get yourself to open up about...
I can a little bit.
On the other hand, you probably won't get me to open up about my emotions.
Yeah.
You may be able to get me to before a woman would be able to.
I get that. And it's the same thing. Like, I actually thought it was pretty funny because the interview we did, the Get to Know a Fool from 2 weeks ago, I feel like we had more deeper conversations there than I've had in my personal life. At least in the last couple of years. Not saying like we'd never had those kind of conversations.
Right.
We've also had a different focus in our life right now. Right. For anybody that knows us, they know we're going down the journey of like IVF and infertility right now. It's not easy. And anybody that's going through that, it fucking sucks. I feel for you. But and that's been the focus of, most of our conversations other than like day-to-day mundane shit or
right.
hearing about her day in terms of her being a teacher and that kind of stuff. So I hear you and I appreciate that and I feel you on it because I feel the same way. Like the conversation we had 2 weeks ago, probably more than I've talked about myself in years. Right. Which may or may not be a good thing. I don't know.
No, I mean I do think it is a good thing because excuse me. I feel the same way about when you were asking me questions. You never asked me anything that made me feel like, oh shit, don't answer this, Cliff.
Yeah.
But each question was like, what exactly?
It's not comfortable
because
but
of
it's
who's asking.
Right. Right.
Now, if you were David Letterman, wouldn't give a fuck what you're asking me. Yeah, Dave, I jack my cock and I bust nuts in socks. I don't give a fuck what you have to, like, you're not gonna hurt, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the fact that you are asking me, it does kind of make me feel like, well, wait a minute.
You don't feel like you can be emotional? You don't feel like you can be vulnerable with me, Cliff? You can be vulnerable. I'm not gonna make fun of you. So,
well, I know,
in corporate America, that's one of the things they teach is that in order to build trust with your associates, you have to show at least some level of vulnerability, right?
Right, and I can get that.
So
I can get that.
That was the joke there,
and I got the joke. I guess my question was, well, not even a question. My discomfort with the joke was.
This goes back to cultural differences too. We talked about vulnerability a couple of weeks ago.
You know what? That's. I mean, I guess that's kind of ironic that you would bring that up. I guess that fits.
Right.
That definitely fits, and that could be a thing where I'm subconsciously not
a cultural
thinking,
thing, and
because there are certain things that I won't speak on.
Yeah. I
won't speak on it until it's brought up.
What are some of those examples?
Right. Certain examples.
This is great radio here, Cliff. We've had a couple of these. Well, I don't want to use the term. I don't want to use the term pregnant pauses because of what we're going through, but
I think that's a good saying. Nice pregnant pause. reason for the pauses, though.
I know.
Because even you gotta understand, and if you don't understand, to other people that are listening that don't understand, there are certain things that make perfect sense for me to speak out on that would in turn incriminate my fellow African American.
I hear you.
If that makes sense.
You're protecting all of black people
now. Not all.
Are you speaking for all black people right now, Clifford?
I could come out and blurt or say or do something, and then people would be like, "I've seen that before." Yeah,
right.
No, it's not my job, nor all I can say is, if I could say the name of my employer, suck my dick. Bitch. Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego is all I got to say. If you find me, you find me, bitches.
And your company hasn't shut down operations yet, or hasn't told people to work from home yet, have they?
Suck my dick.
We got that memo this week. All right, here's my my last question. It's selfish. I'm gonna be straight up with it.
Ask it up.
What are the most meaningful moments of our friendship, in your mind, in terms of just generally? Like, we've known each other for shit. I'm 34 already. You'll be 34 here in towards the end of the year. So we've known each other for almost 30 fucking years, dude. What are the most memorable moments of our friendship? And the other side of that question is, so what are the most memorable moments? And then why do you think we've stayed friends throughout? And not to say we haven't had like periods of time where we dipped out from one another, and why have we stayed friends? In your mind.
First and foremost,
like I said, this is a selfish question because sometimes I need the reassurance that we're friends. Because you're too cool for me.
Shut the fuck up. Let me start by saying this sounds insane. Is this what you hear?
What does? Just the overall?
Like through every episode with both
ears? Yeah, because can you actually hear the volume of the mic and stuff?
Sounds sick.
It sounds sick. I don't know. I'll have to.
I can even hear your mouth. Like,
I will tell you that it is.
I don't like
you
that.
Can hear it more on the headsets than you can when it gets to.
I don't like it
live. You may actually have yours might be turned up a little much on the headphones.
Probably.
I probably turned it up a little because you only ever wear one ear, if that. But coming back to the question.
Yeah, I remember. So, basically what you're asking me is to be soft, to get soft with you.
I'm not asking you to be soft. I'm just asking maybe a little bit.
Yeah. You know you're my guy, and I can tell you why. Because from a very young age, there wasn't a dream that we couldn't have that couldn't get accomplished with me and you.
I agree with you.
Now, depending on who we wanted to bring in on that dream,
that might have influenced
was
it
up
one
to
way or the
us,
other.
right? But as far as our dreams, it didn't take any more than the two of us.
I hear you on that.
You usually padded out the way you wanted things to go. And then I was the guy that took it.
And you would throw me the loop.
Now, listen, and fools agree. Because it's more times than not, you didn't like where I was going with things. They ended up going.
I don't disagree.
It never took us to a bad place.
No, you never did. You never did.
Never took us to a bad place. Now,
and that's why
have brought people around that might have took us to a bad place. But
it's not even
still, I took care of that.
And that would be my answer to this question. And I agree with you on what you're saying around I always felt that you and I could basically do anything together.
Right.
And we could figure out anything.
And still to this day.
And the big thing for me that like solidified, like if I were to talk about the memorable moments, you know what it was. It was my birthday, my 18th birthday party. Like that was a memorable moment in terms of, I know Cliff may get us into a bad situation, but I also know he's going to handle it.
Listen.
And I respect that.
I came up that way.
That's right. I hear you.
My dad still talks shit like that. Like, I didn't think you was going to handle that one. Yeah, I'll get...
You
no,
did.
I'll make it happen.
So, for those that don't know us, I can think of our friendship in like 3 or 4 different phases. I'll call it 4. The first phase was just like us growing up and just knowing each other. And honestly, early on, I was probably closer with like Shelby and Gordon than I was with you.
Right.
But the first phase I would call the backyard wrestling phase. So for those that don't know, someday I will dig up the VHS tapes and I'll convert them to digital of a little bit of the backyard wrestling Cliff and I used to do. He was what'd you go by? Was it Medieval? Medieval was the name. Killer Wolf was mine. So that was kind of like phase 1. Yeah.
Killer Wolf.
It was Killer Wolf early. Phase 2 was the first round of the rap game with the 31 gang. The 3-1 gang, which was the 3 brothers, the 1 white dude. And Viva la Raza, for those that know us.
That was the first album.
That was the first album. So there was that one. So that was phase 1 of the rap game. Phase 2 of the rap game was probably the best. Was when we were in high school, and we were putting together a shit ton of stuff back then. And Aaron was a big part of that. Like that was when we first started getting to know Teaser and Whoop, and then we had I'll call it phase 3.5 was when I moved back and we were doing the same thing, which was after college. Mm-hmm. So we had the high school game. I was gone for 4 years, but then I came back and we got things going again for about a year. So that was the rap game part 2. So that was Friendship 3.5, and Friendship 4.0 has been this. And I mean, we've been friends, in between for the most part. That was my big thing, man. Like growing up, I think I was real close with Shelby for a while, and then I was real close with Gordon for a while, and then you and I kind of reconnected, like, I don't know, like junior year of high school. It wasn't right away in high school. Like, we kind of fell apart, like, 8th grade, 9th grade, and then we kind of got back on the track.
We fell apart a good...
It was a good 2 or 3 years.
We fell apart longer than that, because we didn't really come back together until you were living with your stepdad over on what's in that?
No, what I'm saying, though, like, we're still at the high school point right now. Like, you and I... We kind of fell off in 8th and 9th grade, and then we were kind of back on the same track when we could both drive. So it had to have been 11th, 12th grade. Like my senior year, I feel like
we were back.
We spent a lot of time together, like my junior and senior year.
We were back before we were driving ourselves.
Were we?
Yeah,
I feel like it wasn't until we were driving. Because I feel like you would roll through with Aaron because Aaron was driving because he was a year older than us.
Right.
So it must have been like our sophomore year.
Carnegie Mellon and all that.
Well, I'm talking still about my mom's at that point, like high school.
Oh yeah,
Aaron was driving us, or was driving you guys over to my place.
Right.
In our sophomore year of high school. And then you're right. It wasn't that we fell off, because I got the phone call.
Yeah, you remember.
Are you talking to Spence?
Yeah. You remember that.
But it wasn't that we fell off during college because you came up to visit at least twice, if not 3 times.
At least.
My buddy Jared Wanger, the one that was walking with us in Buffalo at my wedding, he texted me and he was like, he listened to the podcast. He's like, I had to listen to it since I know you're co-host. I'm like, oh, that's right, because we wandered the streets of Buffalo with you. He was the one that was walking us back from the hotel out to the bar where everybody was for the after party. Okay. When you thought that bum rolled you for 20.
No, it was never me that
thought that's that. Right. I thought that.
Right. I said, hey, there's no way that he got me.
That's
I kept
true.
saying there's no way he got me.
You did. I was the one that thought he got you.
Yeah, but I damn near left everything up there.
No doubt.
That was a roll of the dice, because when you was like, okay, we have to go, we can't look any further, I was like, yeah, Cliff, you're fucked.
Well, and where did we go? Didn't we go back to Ashley? And wasn't it all in Ashley's room?
No. You
are
don't
you talking?
Any
are
of
you?
that?
No. What are we talking about? Like,
we're talking about my keys. Remember?
Right, that you left in your jacket in Ashley's room.
No. First of all, we were in Ashley's room. We left Ashley's room. You came and got me from there because I'm looking for my keys the whole time. Went downstairs after you came and got me, and I asked, did you ever find my keys? No. Then we went back up to the garage.
You're right.
Searched in there, couldn't find my keys. Drove
and
5 hours home.
They were in your vest. Or no, luckily, they were in the trunk of your car.
Right. How did that even happen?
I have no fucking idea, man.
How does that even happen?
I don't know.
That only happens with me, ladies and gentlemen. He's getting married. I leave my keys in the trunk of my...
in your car back here in Columbus.
How do they even get in the trunk of my car?
I don't know, but my other favorite memory of that weekend... So first of all,
that was very funny.
Shout out to the Buffalo Reggies. Two fools agree on that one, because we went up like 2 or 3 days before the wedding Buffalo and just got...
Shout out to Nate and John.
She got fucked up with Nate and John.
Had a blast.
Had a great time. My favorite, though, was on the way to the wedding.
Had a blast.
Cliff realizes that he's got a shirt that requires cufflinks. And so we stop at Kohl's on the way to my wedding.
Yeah.
And Cliff jets out of the car. We're literally parked out front. Like, not even in a parking space. Like, literally just pulled out front with the blinkers on. Cliff runs in, and he is like, where are the cufflinks? I need the cufflinks! And they're like, they're in the back. They're in the back.
Yeah. As
part of that, Cliff is like, the groom is in the car. I'm the best man. I need the cufflinks. They're like, they're in the back. They're in the back. He runs to the back. He runs back up. He gets to the line, and he's like, I gotta go. The groom is in the car. We're late.
I could have got that.
And people let you jump up front.
If I really wanted, I could have got them for free.
And he ended up with the cufflinks. They were a beautiful pair of cufflinks.
They're beautiful. They're a beautiful pair.
And then we hit the Cliff rule, and Cliff broke it. So he found his loophole. So that comes back to our first episode.
I don't even know what I did there.
Our first episode, we talked about the shirt required until 10, and you ended up in just a vest. That was your way around the rule.
I don't wear shirts here. How do you wear shirts there?
Fair statement.
Shirts there.
Fair statement, sir. Well,
be Corona careful.
Yeah, be Corona careful. Love each other.
Love everyone. Be Corona careful.
All right, man. We about ready to wrap this up.
Listen. I'll tell you what, though. This is vanilla. Would you like to try it?
Oh, is this the vanilla
Smell
hand
some of
sanitizer?
that.
Yeah, let's see what we got here.
In the Corona.
Yeah.
Rub that in, smell that. I guarantee you'll like it.
Oh.
Right.
Oh, actually, it smells like vanilla vodka.
Right. That's all I'm
Is that
saying.
Everclear?
That's all I'm saying is that you might enjoy it.
Yeah, that's something.
Of course, we love you. I don't know how much I love him. I love
What?
y'all, though.
What? I think we already talked about it today. You love me.
That's like that.
I love this dude.
Y'all, be safe. Don't be racist because of the Corona, because of the Rona. Just be safe and love each other.
Love each other.
And
I agree.
kiss with your mouth closed, at least for the next couple months.
And that's all we got for tonight, folks. We'll see you next week.
Hi.
We can get
I think
two fools agree on that one. Oh, by the way, look, we got the wide shot.
There was you had accountability. Now what I can
Now all you need is a podcast and a YouTube channel.
No, not even.
Where give me the money. Show me the money.
Apparently there's a foo-foo page.
Shoot the J. Shoot it. Live on Facebook.com/Foolproof Entertainment Network. I need you on Twitter. I need you to repost the Facebook pages.
To raise a human before I would
Trust human race back wolves.
before I would trust a pack of humans to raise a wolf.
Right. I hear you.